Working out is so much bigger than just the physique. Working out really puts your mind to the test. Your brain really don't want to work. It don't want to do shit. And when you force yourself to do something that exerts you, it makes everything else seem like a piece of cake. If I could push my body to the limits, the mental stuff is a piece of cake. Doing things that I know I have to do as a man, my responsibilities, I don't neglect like I was doing. And every day I'm getting better, baby. You can't get this way without some form of discipline. And it's only up from here. Fit and focus, baby.
I just wanna ball, mama, I just want it all. I don't care about the law. I got time to right my wrong, no. I just wanna ball, mama, I just want it all. I don't care about the law. I got time to right my wrong.
Checking in one time on this beautiful day. So look, I got a question a while back that I never really gave too much thought to, but it was a good question. Well, for me, I say I know it'd be cliche to say my faith and family, all that, but to be 100 for me, I leaned more into myself, somebody who I had to figure out more of. I had to lean more into Ronald. So I did that by journaling and figuring out what I was going to do to better myself with the least possible resources. You know, I ain't had no money. I was in rehab. I ain't nobody to talk to, no cell phone. So I started writing down all the little stuff I could do. I started off doing 100 push-ups a day. And 100 push-ups a day, like 25 in the morning, 25 in the evening, 20, like split like that. That's all I could do at the time. You know, I was super weak considering to where I'm at now. You know, I couldn't even do them in sets of 4 in one set, and I had to do it throughout the day, which I'm telling you, it might sound like some chump now, but all that stuff compounds. Like, and that just taught me about life. Everything you do compounds. Like, all the liquor I was taking in compounded into me being in the situation I was in. You know, a lot of things happen slowly. In life, we tend to focus on the big tragic events instead of focusing on the little things that led to it. You know, that's what you got to figure out. What led me to this? Because a lot of things don't just happen overnight. Things can happen overnight, but most things are a compound of things you've been going through that got you here, and then boom, it exploded. And that's how it was with me. After that, you know, when I start getting more of a working out routine, when I got out of rehab, I leaned more into faith. You know, I wouldn't say I'm super religious, but I'm spiritual. I started leaning into, like, you know, just how the universe works as far as just being a good person and what you put in and get back. You know, if I speak something bad towards you, I intend you to speak something bad towards me. It's as simple as it goes when it comes to life, you know. So I tend to now be, I mean, I was never a negative person, but I make an effort to be positive, you know. I tell somebody they look good, man, woman, you know, child. I give back compliments to the world, and I don't expect to receive them because expecting things you lead to disappointment. But it happens, you know. Good things are coming more often than they did back in the day. You know, when I was drinking liquor and when I was at a peak, I still didn't have myself. I didn't know myself. I was depending on everything I had to make me feel good. So, you know, I go somewhere, I be getting ready to go somewhere, somebody will say, I know you got a bottle. That was kind of subconsciously their way of telling me to go get a bottle, you know, and I do that to feel like I was the man, you know. Now my presence is appreciated for me being here as a person, as a man, what I bring to the table, knowing how to, you know, change my body, something that a lot of people have a problem doing. People actually hit me up asking questions now, I bring relevance, I've dug deep into myself as a man, and I don't look into the materials, the external things to validate who I am anymore. Now I dig deep. I know who I am. I'm a solid dude, for real. Shout out to my man, Mr. Solid. You know, and when you a solid person, things around you are gonna build up, brick by brick, piece by piece. Minute by minute, day by day, week by week, year by year. Good energy compounds into a good life, and that's just really my sauce as far as I leaned into my faith, leaned more into family. I had lost my way, and when I say family, I mean family and friends. I had lost my foundation of people that I got to a certain point with, because I started finding myself being around people that didn't even really care about me. They cared about what I brought. If I could bring some cigarettes, the women I was hanging around, I started noticing that every time it was, can you bring some squares? Always, what can you bring? Now, like I say, what they want me to bring, what somebody wants me to bring is me and my mental. And hey, bro, can you show me this workout? How you do what you do? What's your diet like? I bring something of substance instead of a substance, And I know it sounds cheesy, but for real though, the cheesy way make life the easy way. Cause trying to be too cool, it just ain't what it is, at least for me. And, so I leaned on myself, I leaned on my faith, I leaned on my family. And, each day I'm still getting better, and I'm going to learn what else I might need to lean on in the future, because every day is a test, and I'm taking it one day at a time. Simple as that.